Hello everyone, this is Grant Gibson. I want to thank you for coming and viewing my YouTube channel. On this segment today, I'm going to be talking about an individual that was very much of a role model and mentor to me, and fundamentally was the catalyst for my young formation into adulthood. The individual I'm talking about was a strong role model and mentor. His name, Mike Hackman. Mike Hackman of Mike Hackman Aircraft Sales. Mike Hackman had aircraft sales. He was called Mooney Mike. Everyone knew in Edmonton he was called Mooney Mike. I got to know him, believe it or not, in the 1960s. I was very lucky. 13 years old, I was walking to the airport with a friend of mine, and I always wanted to spend my time around airplanes, so I knew I had a love for airplanes at a very early age. I was 13 years old, I'm walking to the airport, I could hear the Fleet Canucks flying overhead, going out to the training areas. It was just a pivotal time in Edmonton, Alberta. Being only 8 blocks from the airport, it was just a perfect place to live. And growing up in a large family, I needed to get out of the house, I needed focus. My mom knew this, so she contacted Mike Hackman when she knew I seemed to be hanging around the airport a lot. She wasn't sure what I was doing because I was 13. She thought maybe I was getting into trouble. So she contacted Mike Hackman and said, could you take him under your wings and kind of guide him? He wants to be out there. So hence from that, Mike sat down with me and said, look, you can be the janitor here. I was 13 years old, remember? And he offered me to just be a part of his operation. He had a small office at Hangar 9 at the time at the Edmonton Municipal Airport. Well, I couldn't believe it. He gave me a key. So here I was, a young guy, 13 years old, with a key to the inside of one of the offices at the airport in a hangar. Well, I started to work for Mike, and I would be going to junior high school and then into high school. I would always be going to the airport. I ended up walking 3.5, 4 miles every day. I always wanted to be at the airport when I wasn't at school. Well, this was just an amazing experience to me. I met so many people. I did so many things. I would spend 2-3 hours after school at Mike Hackman's. I had a tremendous amount of fun. I got to a place where I started to fly with everybody I got to know. I got offered all kinds of trips. I met lots of people who said, hey Grant, come on, I want to take you for an airplane ride. So I was washing airplanes, and I got to know Hudson Bay Oil and Gas, who were right next door to Mike Hackman's. They operated DC-3 CFHBX at the time. So I got to do lots of flights and trips with Bill Granley and Don Hamilton, among other people, back in those days. It was just a great amount of fun. In fact, I got taken to Zama Lake on many trips because of my experience with Mike Hackman being right next door to Hudson Bay Oil and Gas. As a matter of fact, when I worked for Mike Hackman, I also got not only introduced to them, but they asked me if I would start coming in and cleaning the DC-3. So I was there. I had another position because of being placed with Mike Hackman there. I was so entrusted to having and so much fun there. And also out of that, it turned out that Stub Ross, who owned Time Air at the time, he operated a Cessna 401, a 402, and a Beech 18. Well, I got asked if I wanted to clean the airplane each day. So I was given through Stub Ross, now if you could imagine this, I got paid $1 a day. $1 a day to look after Stub Ross's airplanes for Time Air. And he had just started from Lethbridge doing a sked run into Edmonton each day. Talk about fun. I was there, and I was all a part of that. So I had these 3 jobs going at one time, making sure I looked after the janitor work at Mike Hackman's. Then I was at Hudson Bay Oil and Gas, cleaning out the DC-3 when it needed cleaning. Then I was over doing Time Air's airplanes as well. Well, it was because of Mike, that level of mentorship and role modeling, and giving me the key. Actually, he gave me a key to life. It was, I believe, the actual catalyst that brought me into maturing earlier than perhaps I might have had I been not had that much focus and love. Because I had a love for aviation at an early age, and I had a love for wanting to be around every airplane there was. It didn't matter what kind it was, the smallest to the largest. That time period in Edmonton was just truly, truly amazing. There were lots of light airplanes. It was the time of the Fleet Canucks, like I mentioned earlier. But it was also the time when Pacific Western Airlines operated the DC-3, the DC-6s. It was kind of that pre-cusp to the jets that really came in with the 737s, and that was kind of in the towards the mid 60s into the earlier 70s. So the time I'm talking about was kind of pre that. It was more the prop driven airplanes. So anyway, I met so many people as a result of Mike. I was entrusted with so many things. I flew many hours with many people because of Mike. I cleaned his office many hours, and I never got paid a lot of money from the age 13 up to age 16 when I actually was involved with Mike as much as possible. But Mike paid 50% of my private pilot's license when I turned 16 years old. When I decided to go learn to fly at Centennial Flying Service, which was down at Hangar 6A, through Frank Elkins at the time, I just made this decision. I was going down there and I was going to do it. And Mike paid 50% of the approved instruction at that time. And that was about, the total was $750. And Mike, I think, paid $350. And the rest I went and worked in another place in order to bring together. So it's just a little bit of the story about how I was influenced by Mike Hackman and all the things that grew from a seed outwards at an early age for me. And it was all because of Mike Hackman. So I do have to say a strong thank you to Mike Hackman. He was truly a man that I did learn a lot from. And I will probably speak more about Mike and some of the other people who have influenced me at an early age. So thank you for watching, and do visit my website, grantgibson.ca. Bye for now.